you know the title of today's meditation. The title is Shunya meditation. Shunya means emptiness. And I subtitled it Emptiness of Suffering. We see a lot of suffering around us, within us. And when we suffer, maybe mental suffering or suffering caused by others or suffering caused by unknown sources, when we suffer, our whole attention is on suffering. For example, a toothache. Suppose if you have a severe toothache, then truth disappears through the window, isn't it? There is no more truth, only tooth. The whole attention is focused on the suffering. The kind of shrinkage of your awareness. Your awareness which is blissful, all-pervasive, that's your consciousness. But when suffering happens, our whole life goes topsy-turvy. Our personality changes. So it is very important we have to look into suffering. Because we all are trying to avoid suffering by various methods. And there are a lot of industry, producing and giving advices how to reduce or remove suffering. Dukkha. Dukkha means a limited space. You shrink into a limited space. So with all these devices, methods and all that, we try to remove suffering. The more we try to remove it, the more it appears in some way or other. It can incarnate in different ways. Suffering can incarnate in 1,000,001 ways. So we are tired of trying to remove suffering. It's like a pimple on your face. When a pimple on the face, you run your finger on the face, you crush the pimple, finally the pimple becomes a big wart on your face, isn't it? Or it is like falling into a tar pit. When you fall into a tar pit, the more you try to get out of that, the more you plunge into the tar pit. So we are tired of these kind of techniques. Let us look into suffering, right into the face of suffering. In the eyes of suffering. Then you find suffering simply disappears. Suffering is a paper type. Suffering is like a sloughed skin of a snake. Suffering doesn't have any existence. That's what we are going to see. That's why I titled the meditation, Suffering is Empty. And for that matter, nobody wants to suffer anyway. Nobody wants to suffer. You don't want to befriend the suffering. So when you look into that, what is suffering? We find suffering is due to the attachment to ego, according to Buddhism. This is a Buddhist technique I am going to introduce today. The ego, the doership. So when you look into the ego also disappears, disintegrates. The sufferers disappears. This is a Buddhist method as well as Ramana Maharshi's method of meditation. So life is a series of experiences. And these experiences are momentary. Meaning, no experience lasts for even a second. But it looks that these experiences have got a certain continuity, certain identity. It is something like you watch a movie. When you watch a movie, there is a storyline, there is a continuity of things, people come and they fight and they love and then all that. But what is actually behind that movie experience is only still pictures. Still pictures. And those still pictures, when they move fast and the light flashes on them, then they create a storyline kind of experience. You cry. There's nothing to cry. There are only still pictures. You cry, you rejoice, you pay for that. Understand? And you finally come back. Bad movie. I will not go to any movie further. But before you decide that, there is the next movie, some image comes and you say, okay, I'll see this movie also. Isn't it? By the middle of the movie, you have decided, I'm not going to watch any movie. But then some trailer comes, okay, let me watch this also. This is our life. So, life is a series of experiences or still pictures. That's why individual thoughts, and they create a flow experience. So you can dissect it, you can deconstruct it. That's a new word. You can deconstruct the whole thing. And you find there is nothing. It's all frill and froth. There is nothing there. We are unnecessarily suffering. So I said that life is a series of experiences, and every experience got 5 factors according to Buddhist philosophy. 5 factors. Those factors are called Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Samskara, and Vijnana. 5 factors. I repeat, those who are taking notes, I repeat. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Samskara, and Vijnana. These are the 5 factors. Rupa means a form. Your suffering is caused by a form, isn't it? My children, my spouse, my creditor, my debtor, my this person, that person, something is there. Rupa. Rupa means a form. A form in these 5 sensations that is constantly pouring into you. That's called Rupa. Vedana means your contact with that sensation. Contact with that. Vedana. Sanya means naming that contact. For example, when I see a tree, immediately I have to name it. Oh, it is a teakwood, it is a mahogany, this is a jackfruit tree. Some name has to, some description, some utility I have to find. So naming, isn't it? Don't you say that name, give the dog a name and kill it. Immediately naming and description comes. Otherwise you don't understand what it is. So Rupa, Vedana, contact with it, name it. That's why children ask, Mommy, ye kya hai? Who is this? What is this? Unless you give a name, child is not happy. Is your dad, is your mom, is that, and all that. So naming. Description. Some utility you have to find in it. Then samskara. Samskara means your conditioning. We all are conditioned beings. From childhood onwards, we are being conditioned to look at things in a certain way. So that conditioning also comes to play in defining an experience. For example, if you give a Hindu a bottle of Ganga water, he is thrilled, his whole life is made, isn't it? But if you give it an American dirty, filthy water, that is the truth. There's a lot of pollution in the Ganga water. Maybe in the source it may be good water. But a Hindu, they will take a sip out of that. No American will do that. Because his conditioning is different. And for a Hindu, nothing will happen also because his immunity is very high. American immediately he'll get a stomach upset. His conditioning is different. Isn't it? So conditioning comes in to define your experience. When I see my child, I am in heaven. But when you see my child, such a naughty child, isn't it? Your whole description is different. Your conditioning play a very important role. Then finally, the experience. You become the experiencer, which is called Vijnanam. So these are the 5 factors which constitute an experience. So we are going to look into all this. This is quite difficult, isn't it? It's not difficult. And that's why we are doing it together. So this Vijnana, the final experience, that experience is very momentary. It looks they are continuous, they have got a solidity about it, but that nothing solid there. It's all fluff, like the clouds. So let us look into our experience. And if you are not able to follow me closely, at least our basic meditation you know. Sit, close your eyes, watch your breath. If you do that, you are in meditation. Sit, close your eyes and watch your breath. But the breath can take you. What is called prana yikshanam, according to Ramana Maharshi. So, let us try to do this meditation. So, Buddhism and Advaita Vedanta are almost the same. It's only the explanatory tactics are different. What they call nirvana, what Vedanta calls samadhi or enlightenment are one and the same thing. But their words are different. Their explanatory strategies are different. Buddha may not say much. Vedantin will say a few more words. So, though we have very fundamental differences with Buddhism, but the methods are almost similar. So, the difference is only verbal, not actual. So, with this introduction, let us go for today's meditation. And we also have seen meditation is to abide in your natural self, which is called swastham, which makes you very healthy. Meditation is to invoke your inner potential, all those things we have seen. So it's a good investment for you. Meditation is a good investment. It will give you rich benefits later. So this 1 hour meditation we will do every week. It is a good investment in terms of health and happiness and peace and love and all that. So good things will happen to you. When you meditate every week, the whole nature will flow towards you with all good intent, with all good energies will flow towards you. You become a magnet. All the iron filings will gather around you. So let us invest some time in this Buddhist meditation, though you are not a Buddhist, but we all are following the same thing. So let's sit. So your eyes are gently closed. Your attention is between the eyebrows. Your hands are resting on the knees or in the lap. You can hold your knees or you can sit in Chin Mudra with the back of the hand on the knees and the index finger touching the tip of the thumb or the middle of the thumb. Both are okay. Your attempt is to abide in your natural state. What the Chinese call the Tao, the natural state. What Ayurveda calls swastham. What yoga calls samadhi. What Vedanta says atmasthiti. But Buddha said the Shunya state. Your eyes are gently closed. Your attention is between the eyebrows. You're watching the breath. Ingoing, outgoing breath. Thoughts may fly. Thought may be still in the mind. Ignore it. You focus your attention on the breath. That force is the air that dances in the nostril. You can feel your heart beat. It's aligned with the tick, tick of the clock on the wall. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, you can feel the stomach wall rising and falling. You can feel the sensation on the tip of the fingers, as well as on the toes. You can feel the hair rubbing the back of your neck. You can feel the eyelids gently falling over the eyeballs. Experience yourself fully. Give attention to your body. Bathe your body in the light of your awareness. Let your body shine in the light of your awareness. Your head, your neck, back, hands, chest, abdomen, waist, thighs, knees, calf muscles, the heel, the sole of the feet, and the toe. Pickle the body in the light of awareness, in awareness. Let it be drowned in this awareness. Your attention is between the eyebrows. You're watching the breath. There are not many thoughts. Even if there are thoughts, they are harmless. Thoughts about the past, thoughts springing from the past or projected into the future. They are all floating harmlessly. Or they have completely disappeared. You are listening to what is heard. You are not interested in any extraneous thought. Your focus is on what is being spoken. Then you find your breath is constituted of these 5 factors, skandhas. The rupa, the form, sanya, the name, vedana, the feeling, samskara, your conditioning, and vijnana, the knowing or experiencing. All these are an expansion of your breath. Breath creates thought, thoughts create these experiences, which is constituted of 5 factors. Thought and the breath go together. So see the connection between thought, breath, and these 5 skandhas. There is no world other than your breath. There is no thought other than your breath. There is no experience other than your breath. There is no suffering other than your breath. There is no gain other than your breath. There is no loss other than your breath. There is no life other than your breath. There is no relationship other than your breath. There is no language other than your breath. There is no memory other than your breath. So you find everything collapses into the breath. So watch your breath closely. And watch the gap between breaths. Inhale, pause, and exhale. Pause and inhale. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Give attention to the inhaling. Give attention to the exhaling. Give attention to the two pauses in between. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. So 4 points of attention. If there are other distracting thoughts, ignore them. Your whole attention is on the breath. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Now breathe awarefully. Deep breathing. Breathe deeply. Pause as long as you can. Then breathe out. And then pause as long as you can before you breathe in. So give attention to the inhaling process, attention to the pause, the gap, then exhaling process, then pause the gap. Then you can find even the exhale, the breath that you inhale and exhale, there are gaps in those breaths. They also are momentary. Just watch it carefully. The gap between inhaling and exhaling, and the gaps within the inhaling and exhaling. The space. And when you see these gaps, the space between inhaling and exhaling, and the inhaling, exhaling breath itself is full of gaps. See that. So the momentariness of things, the momentariness of the breath. So you reduce all your experiences into breath, and the breath itself is momentary with huge gaps. Like the still pictures of the movie, the motion movie which creates a story is all empty. Between two atoms, there is huge space. So your attention is between the eyebrows, watching the breath, and you are seeing the gap between exhaling and inhaling. You are feeling distracted, consciously breathe and hold the breath as long as you can. Thus you feel the absence of anything solid. Everything is continuously flowing. Your body is flowing. Your breath is flowing. Your thoughts are flowing. Your identity is flowing. you see the whole thing is a fiction. The whole fictitious identity that you created. On observation turns out to be a fiction. Empty. The experiencer Vijnanam, experiencer itself or himself or herself is empty. All this you can see by watching the breath and the gaps. If your breath become a thought, see the gaps between thoughts. Your eyes are gently closed. Your attention is between the eyebrows. Your hands are resting on the knees. You're observing your breath. You're seeing the gap. You can see the whole universe collapse into this breath. Breath is nothing but momentary, continuously flowing. Like an electron. Vibrating electrons create the illusion of electricity. When you wave a burning joystick, create the illusion of images. Similarly, the flow of breath. Create the illusion of an identity, an ego. The sufferer. The thinker, the doer, the experiencer. Then you bring the awareness into focus and see the gaps. There is no thinker, there is no sufferer. There is only movement of breath, which itself is empty. Breathe deep and hold your breath as long as you can and watch closely. The absence of breath. The gaps. Breath itself is an illusion. See it clearly. First see the absence, the gap between inhaling and exhaling. The outer and the inner gap. The distance. Then see the breath itself is made up of many pieces. Skandha, combinations. That's when you see the emptiness of the experience. You let go. That you see the emptiness of the sufferer, you let go. And in that letting go, there is no doer. This letting go is not done by anybody. It is like the mist disappearing when the sun rises. You feel like pure space. You feel very light. You don't feel the weight of anything. You're neither gravitating nor levitating. You neither have a center or a periphery. You are in a state of suchness. without name or form or focus. With no desire to become anything or to unbecome. So your attention is between the eyebrows. You're watching your breath and seeing the gaps, the momentariness of things. And the emptiness between two events, there is gap, emptiness. And those events themselves are empty. Now relax. You are not looking anywhere. The looker and the thinker themselves are empty. Not only the objects are empty, the experiencer of the objects themselves are empty. Not only thoughts are empty, the thinker himself is empty. Not only the suffering is empty, the sufferer is empty. Just a space like borderless experience. From where magic-like things appear and disappear. Thoughts appear and disappear. Egos appear and disappear. If you feel tired, take a long, deep breath and hold. Then breathe out. This breath is Rudra, Shiva. This breath is Vishnu. This breath is Christ. This breath is God. But the breath is empty. So take a long, deep breath and hold it as long as you can. Then breathe out. and see and be the emptiness. And feel light. And see the forms which are empty. Rupa, outside forms. Vedana, sense organs which you contact them. Naming, the memories. And vijnana, the experience, the samskara, the conditioning. Together create this momentary experience. All of them are empty. They are paper tigers. These words themselves are empty. Shunya. Whenever you feel distracted, take a long deep breath and hold, then breathe out. Be alert. You see the entire universe simply fizzles out. They are fluff. Fluff and froth. Now relax. Let us chant this mantra together. This itself are an activity of the breath, movement of the breath. And this itself themselves are empty. All these sounds are made up of tiny bits, the huge gaps. Those bits themselves are nothing but gaps, empty. Your attention is between the eyebrows. You're watching the breath. You're hearing the sound of Ahum. You're totally relaxed. Reach the zenith of your being. Uncontaminated state of being. Your being is empty so that you can create anything what you want. You can summon thoughts. You can create anything. Health, happiness, bliss, joy, love, objects. Anything can be created out of that nothing, because the nothing is unconditioned by Him. To enjoy that freedom, the freedom of creation, creativity. Now let us chant Om 5 times. Take a long deep breath. Om. Now open your eyes. Open your eyes. You don't know where you are. You don't know where you are. You're nowhere. What can I do? You're nowhere. You're nobody. Therefore, you can be everywhere and everybody. Your total freedom to make yourself or mar yourself. Okay, so next time I'll be going to traditional Patanjali meditation, Ashtanga Yoga, Ashtanga meditation. Let's see what it is. So thank you very much. Hari Om. Have a nice week ahead.